Storm5406 here, doing a little tank maintenance and overview in this video. Figured I'd change it up from the standard silent video treatment and add some descriptions on things going on. I'm going to start out with a small time lapse of morning wake up. Lights start coming up about 12:30 here, and they go out about 11:30 at night. This gives me time to see the tank at full lighting when I get home, and then gives the glow of the attendance period later in the evening. I was going to cut this time lapse shorter, but then I saw the hippo tank come out of its home and go wandering around, looking for something to interact with, so it decides to go in and check in on the clown. They're funny to watch. They're pretty social fish. It even goes and hides in that small little cave there, just left of center. Let's cut this for a minute and jump over to when the wrasses come out. The two wrasses sleep in the sand over to the right, and then the tank even goes over to see if they're awake yet. In the zoomed in part, you can see one come out and go and play with the tang. A bit later, the other one comes out, and they all sit and play, and they even go and play with the clown for a while. Let's start with the sump side first. Up front's the carbon. It's fed from the left side of the sump and gets dumped back in just past that first baffle. Here you can see the manifold in the back. Yeah, I know it's crooked. Had to raise it there on the right to get the new Vector L1 pumps in. Looking down though, you can see there's the Cheeto. Growing nice. I need to cut that back a little bit. Oops, it's going over the edge. Yeah, there's a little bubble waterfall sitting there. I need to fix that also. A few little things. That's a 800 watt titanium Phoenix heater sitting in there. And yep, back to the left you can just see there's not much to really clean out in there. Actually turned out pretty good. Okay, so in our top down view there's some pulsing Xena, that red Hadani that's recovering currently. Cyno. Yep, I see little fishies. Yeah, move out of the way a little bit. Some hermits, GSP. Huge amount of GSP. Toadstool. Those holes do signify it's budding. There's a couple of buds all down around the edge. There's one on that right-hand side, kind of hard to see behind that rock. The old frag rack sitting there. Yeah, I need to take all that out too. There's the new green Hadani in the front. Clown's not taken to it, staying with the red. There's the clam I've had from day one. Beautiful, iridescent. Back there, there's that one of the buds of that toadstool. Doing pretty good actually, sitting there. It's got lots of nutrients. I guess it's picking up. Jumping over the edge here, what do we have? Not much over here. A lot of cleanup needs to be done. Probably need to take some of these rocks out a little bit and just scrub them down a little bit, get them cleaned out, and suck out the rest of that cyno down around the edge. There in the front though, there's where the wrasses sleep. Coming back across the tank. Just take another quick look more to see how bad the cyno is sitting everywhere. See how much of that I can't get out, clean out of there today. The PVC pipe is for the tang. Give him a little nori wrapped around it, and he likes it most of the time. Some days he likes the other items I feed instead. So let's see what we're going to look at here today. This is the 180. We're going to work on that cyno in the front and around the edge a little bit. Maybe clean off a few of these rocks. So what I'm going to do right now is start by cleaning off some of the cyno on the bottom. You can see I've already put the line in there, started the siphon. I do have the the pumps running just to make sure I've got continuous flow running through. Otherwise, yeah, I'd start draining the tank out a little bit. One thing you should always try to do, at least I try to do, is let that line run for a little bit. Make sure you're not taking too much off in case you need to turn that pump up a little bit. One good thing in regards to anyone that's ever had an anemone is make sure you wear gloves. Without gloves, anything that you touch, brush against, whatever else, especially a Hadani and a mag, can really start to hurt your arms, especially your forearms. It's really a very sensitive part of your body. So make sure you definitely wear gloves. Don't want to cut into your fingers by any rocks or anything else that may be on there. I don't have my step stool in here today, so I'm just going to end up using a bucket that's sitting down. Since obviously you're seeing my backside, I'm not going to let this play continuously so you can see the backside of me sitting there cleaning the tank out, and I'm gonna cut this out in a little bit and speed it up a little just to help you out. You can see the other tanks running over there also. Yeah, I need to clean and work on that other tank. I normally use those snap grips, just slide together, just click together as I hold the lines in. You can see there's one down the bottom holding that filter sock right there in front of my knees. That way I'm assured that it's being held in there with no issues, no problems. So as you can see right now, I'm just running back and forth across the sand, across the rocks. If you notice on the end of it, it's kind of hard to see. I do have a vacuum cleaner attachment. Been using it in the fish tank for a while, so I'm not worried about anything coming from upstairs. It's got the little bristle attachment on it. Just rubbing across the rocks, trying to move them around a little bit and kind of brush up some of the things. I don't use quick motions whenever I do it. Try to do nice and slow. That way I can actually suck up whatever I just dislodged and let it sit there for a little bit longer. So it looks like an old person, just an old man, just sitting there steadily cleaning off. Nothing against old people. I'm in my 40s at least also. One thing bad about the bucket you saw I almost did there, I almost tipped the whole bucket over. So be careful whatever you're using, because you really need to have a nice, good, steady foundation, steady footing. Wouldn't want to fall down and have the line just steadily drain out everything on the tank. So you can see here I've moved a little bit across most of the rocks right now. I'm going to take the brush off here in a minute just to get it out. You can notice I just pulled it out of the water real quick, put it right back in. Normally I let it run for just a second, let those bubbles or whatever else get through, get that full siphoning effect running. It does run to the ground, which is normally a bad thing, just because now it's going to go all the way back up 2 foot or whatever to go into that tank. So I try to leave it level. I want to pull out some extra items and really clog things up for me to be able to move back and forth. Trying to be careful not to bump the Hadani or the clam or knock anything into the clam or anything, and just steadily go along and work. You notice the fish will normally sit and run around with no problems. Be careful of some of your clowns. You can see on that left hand side the clown sitting in that right there by the other Hadani. If it was a larger clown, you may end up getting a little nips and tags as it tries to kick you out of the tank trying to clean up everything that's around it. You notice the wrasses are swimming around there on the backside. They're just trying to stay kind of out of the way. They don't really like to sit too much. Of course, you notice I suddenly moved to the top. Yep, got a bunch of junk up there. Of course, my primary goal was really to work on the bottom, work on the sand first, but I had a few other items I wanted to get done and get cleaned up out of there also. Let's cut this and kind of fast forward a little bit. I don't think I have any end shots of the whole thing being done, but at least you get a good rough idea on how I clean my tank. After that last little segment, I had to go make dinner and get the other things ready. So following day, I came back, taking my power head covers off. If you have an enemy, please, please, please have power head covers. Nothing like coming home or looking at a camera and seeing that all of a sudden your enemy or anything else is tied up in one of the power head covers. But you can see there on that screenshot, that shot right there, there in the bottom on the right hand side, there is quite a bit of cyno sitting there all across the bottom. That's obviously not a very good thing at all. Been trying to do a little maintenance here and there back and forth, but I really need to get kicking on this and get it back to normal. So from that last shot, you notice there on that right hand side a bunch of that cyno has been vacuumed up. I've been going through and cleaning up quite a bit of it. So this is the last little bit. Some people have asked before when they looked at some other videos, why do you use that clear tubing like that? Well, if you notice as I'm going along, it's kind of hard to see here, but here in just a second, you'll see some of the cyno or anything else that gets sucked up in it go right up and right down the tube. As things go in it, I'll suddenly stop, look down at the tube for a second, make sure it goes all the way through, otherwise it's not impeding my vacuum, my siphon, and make sure as it runs through. As I'm going around hitting the edges, I'll suck up little things from shells to little tiny items. Every now and then, yes, something will get stuck in it. You notice I have a rubber band there on the end. It kind of shrinks the end down just a little bit, so I don't have to worry about anything getting stuck in it. That way I can just undo the siphon and get out the end instead of it being halfway down the tube. Like I said, just occludes that end just a little bit from the outside, puts a little pressure on it. Of course, I can always squeeze and break whatever the other item that might be sitting there is in it, like algae, bubble algae, whatever else. Of course, shells don't work very well, but then at least it's not all the way down the tube, and I have to worry about trying to go outside and fling it around to try to get some sort of rock or anything else out. Let's start with the water change. You notice on top of that barrel with the lid on it, it's a hose. It's the same hose I actually use for cleaning. The size of that hose is probably right around a half inch, maybe, yeah, right around a half inch or so. I normally use that to actually refill the tank or drain little items from the tank. But over on the side I'm getting right now is a 1-inch flexi tube. Flexi tube works wonderful, being able to put it exactly where I need to and siphon the things out of the tank. You notice the size of it. It's pretty short, long enough perfectly to put on the edge of the tank like that. Start a siphon on it real quick. Yes, I'm going to start the siphon the wrong way. And then actually start the start the siphon running all the way through. Yes, be careful not to suck in any salt water. The size of that pipe, you'll notice, is actually running pretty fast. It's actually dumping quite a bit of water compared to that other one. Be careful of your fish, be careful of other items, and here all of a sudden, I'm going to suck up a rock that's sitting on top of that rock formation by accident, and actually gets stuck a little bit down the edge. Since it's a rib tube, it snagged on the edge, so I had to stop it here for a second and try to get it out and then restart it back up. You don't really need to see me filling the tank back up. Figured I'd let you sit here and watch the zinnias pulse a little bit, GSP, starfish sliding across, and maybe a couple inhabitants that may swim by the camera. The little dots that are in there, that's just the micro bubbles that were in there when I turned the pump back on while it was still filling up. So there's quite a few of those as they're going around. Hope you enjoyed my little jaunt here. Yeah, I need to clean up a whole lot more. It's just a regular item. I just did a little neglect lately, so I'm trying to get back in the scale of things and get things a little bit back online. If you have any comments, concerns, problems, comment to the video. Shoot me an IM. Normally you'll find me on Reef Central. Good luck. Thank you for watching. Hope you had a good day.